Hello everybody, and welcome back to the second semi-final we have going. Winner of this will go into grand finals to face off against Nivek, the Greek Thunder God, who has done such an amazing job in this tournament. We're going to have FASOLL versus F0xy Grampa. Some of you may have, obviously, you've seen these matches up, both of which have been using Buzzsaw Kung Lao to get to this point. And they've been a very, very strong showing from both players.
Well, it's like I was going to say, I mean, both players that are playing in the semi-final now, both FASOLL and F0xy have been very dominant in their games leading up to this point. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. I mean, I think they're going to be very back and forth. They're going to be very explosive games, as I've seen so many times before, but that's just what you have when you take two aggressive characters and mix them up.
We're going to see loads of low hats if they both pick Kung Lao, because
Yeah.
I mean, they're both playing. If they both play Lao, when we've seen them use Katana, FASOLL might go Katana. Who knows?
Cool.
But on that note, once again, for the prediction system, you have 3 minutes starting from now to make your prediction. Who do you think is going to win? If it's a mirror match, it's going to be hard to call. But FASOLL versus F0xy Grampa, exclamation mark, predict, followed by the points you'd like to spend, followed by the name of the player. If you're successful, the higher you earn, and the more correct you are, the higher chance you have of winning a Scorpion Bubblehead, copies of the game, and cool prizes like that for free, which is always good.
Also, I mean, these predictions are going to be available every game, every week. So remember, make sure you're doing it. It costs you nothing to do, and you stand a chance to win some really cool things. And obviously, you get to back your favorite players, I suppose, in a way as well. Obviously, it's going to get a lot harder to predict going into these later matches, as at this point, it's quite a toss-up as to who's going to win. Any of the 3 players remaining could do it. Again, there's the added pressure now of there's a lot of money on the line here for these matches. I mean, both these players have secured themselves at least $100, but now it's the question of 500 or 300 or 100. Like that's quite a big difference.
And as we've mentioned before, the prediction points also. I mean, the money is one thing, but the fact that the higher you place, the more points you earn. The more points you earn...
Oh, it's in the placement points.
The higher you place, the higher chance you have of being one of the 5 European players that will get sent to Burbank, California for that worldwide top 16. I mean, everyone here wants to be part of that. You want to be part of that group, and you want to have a chance for that minimum of $50,000 prize in Burbank.
You wouldn't enter if that wasn't your goal. If your goal wasn't to enter that top 16 and stand a chance to win that money, get put on that pedestal, then you wouldn't enter. And remember, these can be entered by anyone, so please do visit gg.esl/MKX Pro League to find out how you too can get involved in this. It is free to enter and open to absolutely anybody. So if you think you could take these guys you're seeing here today, feel free, enter and see what you can do. And hopefully we'll be able to commentate your matches.
Players are almost setting up here. Both players in these little sort of matches here have Kung Lao selected, so we may in fact see a Kung Lao mirror match. I've not really seen many. I mean, we know that F0xy is familiar with the Kung Lao mirror. Used for Glue, one of our best UK players, one of the winners of the Mortal Kombat Cups, so he's no slouch either. Plays Kung Lao also, not as a main, but as one of his characters. He plays Hat Trick, which is a variation we don't see very often. But the important thing here is that F0xy is familiar with this mirror. He knows how to fight his own character. We don't know if FASOLL knows how to play the mirror as well.
But as I've said before, this guy is fundamentally sound with fighting games, and being able to adapt on the fly and keep composed is a fundamental thing of fighting games. So if he can do that, I don't see why he couldn't take the set. I mean, we'll see. I mean, like I said before, it's going to be very explosive, very fast match, but at the same time, the Tempest variation that Kung Lao has, the EX meter burn spin that Kung Lao has in Tempest punishes low hat on block. It's a matchup changer when you're fighting Buzzsaw, but the reality is you still need to know how to use Tempest. I mean, F0xy started off with Tempest and then played Buzzsaw because in many Kung Lao players' eyes, they do see Buzzsaw to be the most effective variation. Because it gives him the low hat.
And the meter burn spin is such a strong move as well. But yeah, the low hat is the big deal here. But as we've mentioned here, Tempest Kung Lao, the meter burn spin is 4 frames. Low hat on block is -5. So you have a 2-frame window to punish a low hat on block.
Not to mention, the way reversals work in this game is if you do a special move as a reversal, the game will give you that special move on the first available frame as a reversal. Normals, like normal attacks, you have to time those manually. So if you're doing your meter burn spin to punish, that's a special move. So you're going to get that more consistently than any other attack. And it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult. You go for it.
But just like anything else in fighting games, practice is all it takes. Looks like we're going to be loading into the game, and as predicted, is it a Kung Lao mirror? I believe it is.
I think FASOLL has actually selected Katana here.
Really?
If this is the match we're loading into, FASOLL has just selected Feudal Katana. And we are going into it. FASOLL is actually going for Katana.
Oh, beautiful.
His main. This is an interesting match. I'm not sure how to call it. I don't see this match very often, but The reality is, she is a very defensive character. Even in Assassin, where she gets rushed down, she wants to defend. But right now, Foxy's going to lay on that buzzsaw pressure.
40% to start things off. FASOLL uses a meter burn to really get that armor back. Does use the lift to just make sure he doesn't time as well. Going for the fans. Box the low hat.
One of the things that buzzsaw lets you do is zone and or counter zone. So normally Kung Lao will be kept full screen without teleport, obviously. But this low hat, it comes back so quickly. He can actually contest a ranged character with his own projectile.
Although it looks like when low hat is whiffing, it could take a considerably longer time for the hat to come back. Whilst FASOLL will be using that opportunity to really make the most.
As far as I'm aware, I could be mistaken, but the hat doesn't regenerate until it actually hits the far end of the screen. So if you're mid-screen, it will actually take a bit longer for the hat to regenerate. Unless it's blocked, obviously. But this might be the first round. He doesn't confirm the jab, but that jump in jail. The grab itself doesn't hurt very much. But in that situation there, the jumping normal into the teleport, it jails you into a state where you need to guess the follow-up. He can do overhead grab, he can do a 3. It's a complete guess of what comes next.
Though something we didn't see too much of there was the meter burn spin, though we've seen so much mileage. Maybe he just knows that FASOLL's going to respect it. FASOLL is sitting at a full 3 bars right now. Oh, does bait the wake up, the full punish. How much damage is going to be? 22%.
Hard knockdown. That would have been a hard knockdown without. But one of the things, meter burn low hat is actually plus on block, which gives Kung Lao a free block string.
Sprint to finish. Tries to use his run to confirm that combo, but does unfortunately run out as he just used a breaker.
He baits the meter burn spin, but unfortunately doesn't actually get the combo. But here comes the minus hat. He gets the jump. I think he was almost going to anti-air, but he must have just second guessed.
He is really challenging these spins right now, but you can see that Foxy's not biting.
That was a really good delayed wake up to just make that teleport not a problem. Oh, really good scout on that overhead. He's dodging a lot of these hits, but he's not actually getting any attacks himself. But sometimes that's not as important, but that will be hit confirm. Really smart break.
No, if he didn't break that, that would have been a lot of damage and he'd be in a really bad situation. Right now, the jump in doesn't get anti-aired. The attempt does come out, but the jump in does beat it again. Really good read on that projectile to really just jump over that and get the damage, but another breaker. Something you'll see Kung Lao, he will have a breaker a lot of the time because of how much times he'll be blocking him with the low hat.
Oh, and that's going to close it. One more hit will take it, and that will be game 1 to Foxy. By no means was that free. FASOLL has more than what it takes to push through here.
The thing is, both rounds were really, I mean, I know obviously we thought it would be a very quick match, but we saw very calm play from Foxy right there. He was not going in. He was not just running in and doing his thing. He was playing very patiently, and FASOLL was as well.
I've always described Foxy's game plan. I mean, like other Kung Lao players, for example, you get players like Perfect Legend, who also plays a phenomenal Kung Lao. There are differences in these players. Like where a player like Perfect Legend is explosive all the time, Foxy's Kung Lao tends to be explosive when it needs to be, both of which are equally as effective, both really effective styles. But one thing you'll see from Foxy is when he knows he can be explosive and go for it, he will. But in some matchups, like when you see him fight Kung Jin, when he fought Kitana there, he will be patient. He'll wait for that moment. He'll kind of bob in and out. But the second he gets that one touch, that's when he becomes explosive and it begins. We're going to see Kung Lao. We are going to see a Kung Lao mirror. I don't think he wants to play Kitana at all. Now, this is where it completely changes up. This is where it completely changes.
There we go, Foxy again does manage to take not as much damage as we saw last time, but again, nothing too bad damage-wise here.
Lovely meter burn spin.
So as soon as we go back to the Kung Lao mirror, that's where we see the meter burn spin come out. And a beautiful normal anti-air from Foxy.
That was a Mortal Kombat 9 anti-air. That was phenomenal. Really good. Oh my days. It just looks like he just can't get anything going in this match. Here comes the low hat. He knows how to block. He gets hit by the overhead, then the low again. These low hat shenanigans are just so strong.
Ooh, the risky dive kick. But no, just like that jumping normal from Kung Lao is so powerful. Does take the round for Foxy.
I mean, it's not as like manic as we've seen. A lot of it again is just, alright, here comes a good low hat. That's gonna be a low. He knows to block that string. That's one of the strings that can really check people, the mid to low. And here comes the teleport. He's gonna full combo punish that. Here comes a full corner combo. Unfortunately, does drop the follow-up, but he's still in a good situation.
FASOLL is sitting at a meter burn spin right here. Doesn't go for it. Foxy probably respecting the option, but no, he does return with his own.
Foxy is not afraid to meter burn spin. I mean, that's one of the things you ever see. That's going to be a full confirm. He has to break that. That was a smart break. But is this going to be another round? I think risk assessment there. I'm not sure the dive kick was worth it.
Oh, there'll be a brutality. This has to be a brutality. No, there we go. 2-0 to Foxy Grampa. Will we see the Nivek Foxy rematch that we've seen before in the past?
I would hope that FASOLL can pull this back. I mean, in terms of just hype, I was hoping that there'd be some players that can really bring it to these guys.
Well, obviously we saw, as I said before, Sonic Fox, the dominant force in US Mortal Kombat.
No doubt about it.
Fatal
in the world. In the world right now.
Fatal 8 champion. Won 3 of the 4 ESL pre-seasons in the US. Won week 1 of the ESL Pro League for the US. Has been eliminated from week 2 early by someone that people weren't as familiar with. So I was hoping we would see something similar like that in Europe. But like right now, it looks like it's going to be as some did expect in the Nivek and FASOLL
This is
final.
only week 1 though. I mean, we have 7 weeks left. We have 7 more of these online qualifiers where players can bring it. If you guys at home think you can really bring it to these players, then please feel free to enter these tournaments on Xbox One. Free to enter. No reason not to. We're going to be going into the next match here. Is he sticking with Kung Lao? He's actually gone possessed Kenshi. How about that? I've actually never seen FASOLL pick this before.
If FASOLL makes this 3-0 comeback with possessed Kenshi, that is going to be a spectacle.
But unfortunately, the read! He knows he's going to press a button, so here comes the meter burn spin. And here comes more low hat. That's actually full combo punishable. But I think the reason Kung Lao will get away with that so much is because he always follows it up with something. That's what you expect.
If a move can be cancelled into low hat, even if it's unsafe by itself, it's difficult to deal with. If low hat is a threat, that's the problem. Good hit confirmed from FASOLL. FASOLL really needs to compose himself together and bring this momentum that he's obviously made this character switch for a reason. We need to see why he's done this.
Ah, match point FASOLL though. I mean, it's just not working out right now. The issue here is that Kung Lao is not a character that can be kept out. His teleport is so strong, he can counter zone somewhat with the buzzsaw low hat and his own projectiles. He's not a character you will keep across the screen the whole game. He just is not built that way. So it's going to be very hard for Kenshi to pull in there.
Does get the anti-cross-up 1. Not a massive confirm, but the damage was there. It's more of a case of just showing the opponent that cross-ups are not that strong. Does get the throw from FASOLL. He needs to build some meter. Otherwise, he's going to be free to these mix-ups.
There's going to be more Kung Lao pressure. No low hat. He's going to go low hat soon. He goes for the teleport into overhead because he knows he's expecting low hat. That's such smart stuff there from FASOLL, but FASOLL, he's not out of this. He needs to keep this pressure going and he needs to win. He does get a late anti-air spin.
Only 18% of the punish. I mean, I'm not too familiar with possessed Kenshi. I don't know what his maximum damage is, but if that's all he's got, then that's another reason this might be quite difficult for Kenshi.
Oh, the low hat.
Lands on the low hat. That is really unfortunate.
And that's going to be a full confirm. Unfortunately, it does drop. It gets a bit too late. It doesn't get the capitalized because it's actually not meter burned. If that was meter burned, he would be able to get the capitalization on that. This is going to be a full combo. One more touch
can make this comeback. No! Oh, there we go!
Oh!
Just the overhead.
I think what happened there was he tried to meter burn spin as an anti-cross-up, but the hat was actually not there. So he was doing that little shimmy about. I think he tried to anti-cross-up meter burn spin, but he was unable to because the hat wasn't.
And as we've seen...
Not that it mattered, though.
As we've seen so many times today, meter burn spin takes the match. Takes the set, and we will be seeing Nivek versus FASOLL Grampa as your grand finalists today in week 1.
I think some people expected this. I mean, by no means, was everyone thoroughly dominated. I mean, we saw some really good play from all of these players right now. As I've said, all of them have made it into top 8.
I'm liking what we're seeing from Europe so far. I'm really excited to see what the rest of the league is going to bring. It looks like there's going to be no shortage of good character coverage, good variation coverage, good knowledge, and good play from Europe in this cup. So I'm looking forward to seeing what even players that haven't made it to top 16 yet can bring. I want to see what we're going to see. I can't wait.
We see a lot of players in there so far, though, that they've really managed to do a good job of being consistent. I mean, there are players here. I mean, you haven't seen them in the top 8 today, but there are players in those pre-seasons and that are playing right now online that are doing really well from Europe. We have players like Mr. Aquari, for example, who has done, solidly played really well. Players like I'm Still the Daddy, players like Omega K. We have these players that are coming into the ESL leagues and are doing well. I mean, just because these players didn't make it into this top 8, that doesn't mean they're not going to make it into the next ones that are coming about. And these players, they may have what it takes to bring it to Nivek, bring it to FASOLL, bring it to these players that, will just prevent them from being grand finals every week. Because there's a lot of players here. I think there are some people out there, and even these guys here today, they're going to take what happened and they're going to take these sets, they'll learn from them, and they're going to realize what they need to do to get better. And they'll bring it next week.
Well,
this week, really.
None of the players that we saw, not even in the top 8 today, in the first top 16 for Europe, is walking away empty-handed. Top 32 is getting those placement points for the top 16. So even, players may have lost today, first match, still got points. You're still that one step closer than countless of other people around the Europe to be that close to that top 16 for that $50,000 prize pot tournament against the best that the world has to offer for this ESL League.
Well, we are going to be going into the grand finals soon. We have, obviously, FASOLL Grampa. I mean, he's one of our guys. I'm really happy that he's made it so far. I mean, we've all of us have been about playing Mortal Kombat for, back in the day. you know, we all started together. It was
it's the PND, the UK Classics.
It was the PND, the UK OGs, the ones that started. I mean, it really was. It was myself, Mustard, Used for Glue, and Foxy. We were the sort of the first 4 in the UK that really started playing as a group and really leveled up together.
And it expanded, and these players are still playing now, and they're doing really good things at MKX. If it's not around the online league, it's around the Combat Cup. It's around the live events around Europe.
But contrary to that, so is Nivek. Obviously, you know, Nivek is one of the, you know, he's part of the sort of the GDA, the Greek Dojo Academy.
Although he is now sponsored by Elysium Gaming, so he's managed to make it that step above.
But like, you know, all these Greek guys, they've been playing MK9. They are basically the Greek equivalent to us lot. You know, they all played MK9 together as a group. They've all played. I mean, Sumerian, Hadan, Metsus, Nicolas, who is now in Chicago actually, so he's probably not entering these.
But then at the same time, you've got Team Finishim in France. You've got the Netherlands and Belgium had a really good Mortal Kombat 19, and again, these players are all coming back to play. If it's not through the online league, it's through the Combat Cup and through these other events.
Players like Master VHD. You know, Master made it through to. Has qualified for his Belgium tournament for the Mortal Kombat Cup, but at the same time, he's also he made it through to this top 16. And Master has been really consistent anyway. In a lot of these pre-season tournaments, Master made top 8. You know, he's got a really strong Kano. I mean, this guy is no joke. And you know, I'm more than certain we'll see Master VHD pull it back.
But he's a player that we've seen play numerous variations as well. I mean, at this point, I mean, like I've said before, the game's coming up on a month old now. That's not a long time competitively, because in that time, a lot is still yet to be found. I can guarantee there are still things in the game that people just don't know about that you know, could possibly end up being either big problems in terms of just dealing with, like, you know, these good characters that people just don't know about yet. A month is not a long time, but it is enough time to learn a few characters, a few variations, or stick with one character and really flesh them out, you know?
I mean, Nivek and Foxy have both done that. I mean, we know that Nivek plays, he is a Raiden guy. Raiden is his character. With Foxy, Kung Lao is his character. So both these guys that are in Grand Finals have their character, and here they are in Grand Finals, ready to play out for that $500. I mean, second place will take home $300, but I mean, $200 difference, that's pretty severe.
But first place is going to take those 100 placement points for the European League. 100. Do you know how much you get for 32nd? 5.
That's a pretty big difference.
The higher you place, the massive high chance you have of going. You win a couple of these, you know,
you're in a good place.
You're in a really good situation. And I'm hoping we're going to see, I mean, realistically, this is just my opinion, but I would be very surprised if we don't see both of Nivek and Foxy Grampa in that top 5.
The reality is that Nivek won 2 of the ESL pre-season tournaments. Foxy has won the other 2 pre-season tournaments.
And here they are in Grand Finals the first week.
They are both in Grand Finals. And to my knowledge, I do believe both players have made it through to top 16.
I'm unaware. I don't know.
I know Foxy has. I'm not sure about Nivek, but if they just keep this pace going, then they will almost be guaranteed. They will almost be guaranteed for it. On that note, though, guys, we will be setting up the Grand Finals match right now. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and please stay with us. We have a really good set ahead.
I would recommend using this time to really think about who you're going to use your last prediction points on. This will be the one to watch, guys, so see you in a little while.